Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another Push for Life tutorial video. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for all the support you guys have been giving me over the past few weeks. It's really inspiring and it's what's keeping me going. So make sure if you got any comments, write them down below. If you have any suggestions for other videos you'd like, please let me know. I read every comment and I try to comment back. And let's get right into this lesson. So far we've looked at a range of different things. I've shown you how the step sequencer works, how to build a basic beat, how to change the bass drum patterns, the hi-hat patterns, and today we're going to take a look at how to change the snare drum pattern to make some interesting beats. So another very quick recap. I have the beat going, I have the beat set up already. So as you can see here on screen, I've got this clip right here. And if I double click on it, it opens up down here. Well, it was open already. But anyway, so we have the bass drum on the 1, the snare on the 2. And you can, just in case you don't know, up here you have these numbers. So this is a 1-bar loop. And whoops, we've got beat 1 here, beat 2. It says 1.2. That means it's bar number 1, beat number 2, beat 3, and beat 4. So we've got the bass drum on beat 1, snare on 2, bass drum on 3, snare on number 4. And then we've got the hi-hats up here. Let me just, if I click on this, I can hear them. Okay, so we've got the hi-hats on set to 8th notes. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And just to show you that back here on the push, I've got the bass drum here set to 1 and 3. Remember, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E, and so we've got the bass on 1 and 3, we've got the snare on 2 and 4, and we have our hi-hats on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so that's just a basic recap. When I push play, we've got our basic beat that we've been using throughout these tutorials. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the snare drum, the snare right here. So it's selected, and as you can see, it's on the 2 and the 4. Now, before I start messing around with, turning buttons on and off and trying to make an interesting snare pattern, one thing that you should understand about a typical pop beat or hip hop beat or anything that's in popular music is the snare drum is on the backbeat, which is on the 2 and the 4. So it makes sense for most beats to make sure that you keep these these snare drums selected on the 2 and the 4, and just try to add stuff in between. Now the bass drum is on the 1 and the 3, so you want to maybe stay away from these buttons, but everything else is really open for experimentation. Now this is a rule that obviously is meant to be broken, but I would only start trying to break that rule once you really understand why you want to have the snare drum on the 2 and the 4. So let me just stick on the beat. So there we go, we've got our normal beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I'm just going to start messing around with adding some snares and just really show you some different possibilities how you can start spicing up your beats just by adding a snare here and there. So let's go. So I'm going to add a snare on the 2nd 16th note of beat 1. Let's see how that sounds. That's pretty cool. Now I'm going to add a snare on the 4th 16th note of beat 2. That's another one. Now the 2nd 16th of beat 3, let's see how that sounds. Cool. And the 4th 16th of beat 4. Now obviously we don't need to just stay to adding one extra snare drum, we can add more than one. So let's, I'm just going to play around and just show you different possibilities. That's probably the best way of doing it. So you can see there really are endless possibilities, because this, remember, is just one bar. You know, you can have this going on over 2 bars, over 4 bars, or however many bars you like. Alright, so that's really just to show you a quick video of how you can start spicing things up with the snare drum. And in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start showing you how to build all kinds of different beats by varying all of the elements we've looked at so far, which is basically the bass drum, the snare drum, and the closed and open hi-hats. So I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to like and subscribe as usual. Leave a comment below if you have any suggestions, and the next video will be up very soon, I promise. All the best for now. Peace out.